Alright, and we should be live. Give me a second. Yes, we are. Okay, so just a moment. Couple tweaks here on the back end. And let me be the first to say hello, everyone, and welcome. We are live here on Twitch. I'm your host, the Desert Fox. We're bringing something a little different, something that we've been kind of cooking on for a couple of months here in the background. About to go live here in a second. Are my two friends with us joining me? We're going to be playing a little Sons of the Forest in a brand new save, because my two Jagaloon friends messed it up and accidentally beat the game. So we're going to start a new game for you folks, and we're going to go on an adventure. What is this adventure, you might ask? Well, one, you're going to watch us hilariously fail at playing Sons of the Forest, and two, we're going to have a Warhammer 40k podcast, kind of start using Sons of the Forest as viewing material for you guys as we're playing. Now, what is the purpose of this podcast? I absolutely know 0, maybe 0.2% of the 40k lore. Never grew up with it. A bunch of friends have it. Played some mods and stuff in various games. But I don't really have any sort of real experience with it as in comparison to, say, Star Wars, or as many of you are here familiar with locomotives and running trains and Transport Fever games and stuff like that. So this is a kind of a bit of a test for me, pushing the boundaries of what I know, and also it gives my buddies an opportunity to present something that I believe should be presented. So, without further ado, welcome to the Imperial Archives. Welcome to episode 1. And without further ado, my good buddies Animate and Obi. Please say hello.
Hello.
Simultaneously says hello at the same time. I love that. I love that. Oh, the chaos has begun.
You can sense the anti-socialism.
Whoa! We talking
Running.
about socialism? Or
This is a 40k podcast.
Oh,
Well,
my bad. I meant to say anti-social skills.
There we go. You're good.
Social
You're good.
anxiety.
But anyway. Oh, and we're getting shot at. Alright, so, again, I know. Alright, hold on, I got it. Is there a way to skip this? Yes, I need to skip this.
Hold S. I'll just hold S.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip the cutscene because I gotta get this turned down just a little bit. Yes, wake up, bitch. I don't care. Yes, we get shot.
There's a bunch of stuff in these boxes.
Oh, you gotta see this. He's the old man.
Oh, you're the grandpa.
He's the grandpa.
Am I the grandpa?
Yeah, you're the grandpa.
I like it.
Hey, man, I'm pretty sure there's no. Pretty sure there isn't any arthritis medicine on this island.
Alright, turn the master volume down just a little bit. Okay. Back. Okay, now, what are we doing? Let me get my bearings of what's going on.
So we're starting a game of Sons of the Forest. We just happen to be in a helicopter crash. We are also talking about 40k, of which you are in a complete green on.
Yes. So for reference sake, I have approximately what game was it? We were playing Darktide. I think it's the only game I have actual like.
You've seen Obi and I play Darktide before. You've seen Obi and I play Darktide before. What else? We've done some other 40k stuff. I think.
You guys played like Riptide and Vermintide and stuff like that.
We played Deathwing where we spammed the heavy flamers, burned a bunch of aliens.
Oh yeah, we did play Deathwing. Okay, yeah. So like I was saying, like my experience with it is very small, in comparison to y'all. Oh, that was spiders. I don't like spiders. But yeah, no. So purpose of this show is basically just to be an introduction to people that don't know anything about Warhammer and don't know where to start, and really how to get into the lore of the whole thing. So my question is, first question is, what universe does it take place in comparison to like Earth? Is it like kind of like a Star Wars thing where it's in a galaxy far, far away, but somehow it's a long, long time ago, or is it like ahead in time? Someone give me like the basic gist.
All right. So you're asking what's 40K? For you, the heretical viewer, or for you, the heretical greenhorn. So 40K, of course, 40K is set 40,000 years in the future. It's our universe, but it's 40,000. It's 40,000 years. There, you're already more knowledgeable. In this, in this universe, basically, this is the darkest timeline. Are you familiar at all with the term grimdark?
No.
So grimdark it's kind of a niche term that people use to describe stories or universes or settings that are overwhelmingly dark and depressing, and it originally comes from 40K. So the tagline for 40K is, in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. Everything sucks. Everything sucks. Everything's horrible. But that's the charm of it. It's the far future. Humanity is by rights this zealotous, or humanity is this zealotous, indoctrinated species like that kill each other for heresy just as much as they kill all the aliens. So yeah, does that answer the question?
Yeah, pretty much.
All
right. So then, going forward, how many factions are there? Like let's just say, like, we have again, making a parlay back to Star Wars for reference. We have like the Empire and the Rebels, and then you have like the Mandalorians and various little gizmos and gadgets.
About that. So 40K originally comes from a tabletop game, right?
Yes.
Like a tabletop miniature game. I know I personally have painted some miniatures. You've seen it posted in the server. So on the tabletop, there are some, I think, 20-something factions you can play as. And within the larger scale of 40K, those very much include sub-factions as well. But in the lore, specifically, you can break it down to humans, as in the Imperium of Man. Then I guess you could call it like the main faction, kind of the protagonists of 40K, and I'll get to them in a second.
Quote-unquote protagonist.
Yeah, sure, protagonists. You've got the Imperium of Man, you've got the Xenos, the filthy Xenos, and those are collectively the various alien species that are not mankind. And then you've got Chaos. These guys are literally just demons from hell.
Demons from hell.
It's space hell. So it's space hell, and I'll get to them eventually. But Chaos essentially is corrupted aliens and corrupted humans that are possessed or like have given themselves to something called the Warp, which is, think of it as like a mirror reality to our own. So we here are in something called in the lore, something called the Materium, or real space. Think of it. This is the regular plane of existence that we operate on. It is very much a realm of material things. However, in 40K, there is something called the Warp, or the Immaterium. It is kind of a mirror dimension to it's a mirror dimension to our world, where that's entirely made up of souls, thoughts, expressions, emotions. It's kind of this magic hell soup. It's kind of this swirling magical hell soup where how do I put it? It's where thoughts and expressions and ideas and emotions hold sway, rather than objective material reality. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's the warp.
And then hell.
It's okay. It wasn't always hell, but that's a topic for another time. But in the warp, there are 4 gods, or 4. The warp itself is literally just chaos. It is magic. It is chaos, magic, hell. And in this area, there are 4 gods that rule over the warp. The 4 chaos gods. Think of it as like Satan, but 3. Think of it as like Satan, but with 3 more Satans of different flavors. That kind of preside over the warp. You've got Korn, kind of your. He's more your fire and brimstone. His main color is red. You got Korn. He's like your fire and brimstone. You're typically your. I don't want to call him standard because he's not, but he's your more traditional Satan. Korn's shtick is melee, or Korn's shtick is murder. He is the god of murder. He's the god of rage. He does not care where the blood comes from, so long as that blood is flowing. Does that about sum it up, Obi? Am I getting Korn right?
Yeah, that's about it. Just a lot of death, rage, a lot of gore, a lot of murdering, or a lot of blood. That's about it. That's Korn in a nutshell.
Murder.
He's literally just god of murder. He doesn't like trickery. He doesn't like deceit. He doesn't like magic. Korn's not the kind of guy that'll stab you in the. Korn's not the kind of guy that'll stab you in the back. Instead, he'll stab you in the front, several times over. And on the other side, the next god of chaos, we got Tzeentch. Tzeentch, completely different. Tzeentch is eldritch. Tzeentch is unknowable. He is the god of magic. So in 40k, there's like people in the materium, like the reality, can use basically magic powers that come from the warp, or can like tap into the warp to give them some special abilities. These guys are known as psychers. They can like tap into the warp to do special things. They're also kind of insane. But Tzeentch is the god of magic. He, according in a different setting, Warhammer Fantasy, all the magic spells that ever existed came from Tzeentch, and it's kind of similar. It's similar and pretty much true in 40k. He's eldritch. He's unknowable. Like, he is the god of trickery. Everything that is and ever will be is his is the domain of everything that ever will be, but also nothing. His whole shtick is he is the god of change. He is the embodiment of everything that is he's the embodiment of everything that is knowable and unknown. And he's confusing as hell, but I think that kind of does it. Like, his whole shtick is trickery, change, deceit, and knowledge.
Kind of like a Loki kind of thing.
He's Loki. He's actually a good way of putting it. It's like, think about like Loki crossed with Cthulhu.
Okay.
And that's, yeah, that kind of, I think that does it justice. What do you think, Obi?
Well, oh my, it just got murdered. Tzeentch.
Okay. I just died too.
Also, god of like always having, like, god of intrigue, a god of, yes, mischief of sorts. So, Tzeentch is always planning, like, he'll play a game of Monopoly with you, but it'll be the most confusing game of Monopoly in your life. He'll make 10,000 little moves just so we can like get you at the end, and it's gonna be a lot of little things that you're not even gonna notice. You're not even gonna care, but he has foreseen it and he sees it all, and he will F you up.
It is kind of like
in the long run.
It's like a Doctor Strange and a Loki kind of vibe.
Think of it like this.
Yeah.
If you ask Tzeentch a question, he's not going to respond with an answer. He's going to ask you another question. And then that question spirals out into more questions. And then all those questions cascade out into the heat death of the universe. And Tzeentch sits there and thinks, are we really even asking questions, or are we just providing paths to answers? He's that kind of guy.
Ah.
So yeah, Obi's completely right. Tzeentch is all about trickery. He's all about deceit. He's all about mischief. He's like Loki. And yeah, he's a fucking nerd compared to the other
You
Chaos
guys not
Gods.
just sidebar real quick. You guys can't carry any more fish?
No,
I
I'm
got some.
full.
Alright. Actually, this wouldn't be a bad area to potentially find a good base location. Because that
I think I've
school of
got.
fish is like really like
If we're going this way, I think I got a good area I can show you guys.
We can maybe get a home in one of the bunkers.
Actually, yeah. I don't know. We should make our own home. Yeah, that's Tzeentch.
I'm getting hit by something.
Oh, that's a native. That's a native.
Kill him.
I was trying to build something.
I got him.
I got you. I got you. All right,
Oh,
he
you
did.
son
He
of
did.
a bitch.
Oh, he dropped a spear. Well, that's pretty much Tzeentch for you. I think we got him. I think we got him pretty well covered. Counterpart to Tzeentch, or like the direct. So, quick tangent. Of the 4 Chaos Gods, they're usually pair up in 2s, and 2 of the Chaos Gods are direct foils to each other.
Like
Yeah,
two in melee, two in magic, basically.
Yeah. Like, Khorne is a foil to Tzeentch in the way that Khorne doesn't respect magic. But more specifically, the next guy we want to talk about, Nurgle, is a direct ideological foil to Tzeentch. So, and then the guy we'll talk about after Nurgle is the more appropriate direct foil to Khorne. But Nurgle is the exact opposite of Tzeentch in almost every way. He is the god of stagnancy. He is unchanging. He is stagnant. He is pestilent, and he is rot. Nurgle worshippers are, oh boy, Nurgle worshippers are literally just walking corpses. Nurgle worshippers are just walking corpses. They are stagnant. I'll put it like this: most Nurgle worshippers have their ribcage on the wrong side. Usually have their intestines on the wrong side of the ribcage. Nurgle represents stagnation. He represents death, and he represents finality. In the way that Tzeentch is kind of change and hopefulness, or in the same way that Tzeentch represents change and hopefulness for change to your benefit, Nurgle is giving up. Nurgle is accepting death. Nurgle is finality. That about sum them up, Obi?
Well, yes, and I would say Nurgle is
There's
more
a
of.
guy. Hey, sidebar. There's a guy trying to kill us.
Oh, let's kill it.
Of course,
Khorne's
Nurgle.
not good.
I would say Nurgle is definitely one of those. Well, the saying goes that Nurgle always loves you. By that, if you submit to Nurgle, you will be a walking corpse, yes, and you will be, you will be smelling 24/7 like shit and piss and everything disgusting. But Papa Nurgle loves you in a way that you don't feel any pain, you don't feel anything as long as you worship him and follow him. He will love you and you will love him because he is one of the quote-unquote relatable gods.
Yeah.
All right.
Like, every
See-
god in the setting is kind of a dick. Well, yeah, all of them.
They're all.
Nurgle is the one that you hate because it's chaos and it's demons and it's disgusting, but you will not feel anything as long as you follow him and worship him. He will not send you into reckless suicidal charges like Khorne does. He will not turn you into a demon or chaos spawn without no reason like Tzeentch would. And he will not do a lot of horrible things that Slaanesh does.
Okay.
So in a way, Nurgle is the best chaos god in my opinion.
Yeah.
There isn't a lot of suffering when it comes to Nurgle.
See, yeah, Nurgle's followers never suffer because they just don't feel anything. If you're like you said, there's a very common phrase. Oh God!
Oh, I'm sorry.
got-
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, you just smacked me while you were cutting down leaves.
Whoops.
Yeah, like Obi said, Nurgle has a saying that, or there's a saying amongst the Nurgle demons, like Nurgle always loves you, and that, for the most cases, is true. And don't get me wrong, all the Chaos Gods are evil. They are objectively evil. However, there are some redeeming aspects of the Chaos Gods. Actually, one thing I didn't hit on before. So, given that the warp is made up of thoughts and emotions, or that's where all the thoughts and emotions go. Like, if you think a thought or if you feel some emotion, it gets shot straight to the warp, and like that's entirely what constitutes it. But the various gods of the warp, they are more they are more anthropomorphic projections of various flavor or like various aspects of human emotion or like just emotion in general, given form.
Okay.
So corn is a manifestation of all the rage and all the rage and murder in the galaxy. In the same way that Zinj is a manifestation of all the trickery and change going on and hope throughout the galaxy. I just fell off a cliff. In that same way, Nurgle, like I said, is giving up. He is the anthropomorphic god of stagnancy. So for most Nurgle demons, they're usually really happy, because they can't feel anything. So
drugged out, methed out, like Panzer commanders.
A little bit, but more specifically, think of them as. Okay, this is going to be a very specific example, but Nurgle demons.
Oh shit! There was a guy hiding in the woods.
Oh, I'm coming to get you. You got him. Yeah. Nurgle demons are known for singing a lot. They're well known for singing when they go into battle, because they're happy, they're jovial, and they get to spread the word of Papa Nurgle. And Nurgle, of all the Chaos Gods, is the one most likely to give power, or like to give parts of his own power directly to his followers. Like with Nurgle, you can be the lowliest little demon called a Nurgling. I think that's really cute. They're called Nurglings. Like that's the lowest rank of demon you could possibly be. And you can he can if you please him, you can ascend all the way up to the demon there is of a great unclean one, which are just absolutely disgusting in every way. They are literally walking mountains of pus and rot and filth. So.
Sweet.
That's Nurgle in a nutshell. Like, Nurgle always loves you. Yeah, god of rot, god of stagnancy, god of filth. He's just,
Damn.
He's
my bad.
filthy. Next one, and the last one, and this guy is, or guy, he, she, we're not entirely sure.
It's a lady boy.
Is Slanesh. Slanesh is. Oh boy. I'm gonna try to keep this PC, but this might get graphic. Slanesh is the god of excess. The joke name for Slanesh in the joke name for Slanesh is the god of sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yes, I actually have heard of that.
So yeah, Slanesh is. You know how I said that the warp is made up of thoughts and expressions and feelings, like made manifest and given form? Slanesh is probably the most directly related to the idea of, or probably most directly related to being the god of emotion. More specifically, Slanesh is the god of excess. It's not just take so for Slanesh, take a standard emotion, and then not just crank it up to 10, but 17, and you break the fucking dial. That's Slanesh. You any bodily experience or feeling you could have, is cranked up to fucking 17. And usually excess of pain, excess of pleasure, excess of happiness. Usually it's other stuff like torture, lots of torture, but flesh is most commonly associated with excessive amounts of drugs and sex. The Slanesh demons are most Slanesh demons are not PC, just show on a stream like this. Yeah, because they're not dressed. Because most Slanesh demons are not dressed appropriately, or actually dressed at all. But yeah, so like on the battlefield, Slanesh is all about going fast, hitting hard, generally torturing their victims, because Slanesh feeds off the excess of emotion, and that could be any emotion. Did I get everything, Obi?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
It's a lot of mostly it's a lot of pain and torture. A lot of pain and suffering. Well, all the gods are pain and suffering, but
So
Slanesh
it's kind.
really,
This is more specifically like a god of
it's
war.
like if imagine like the worst serial killers who like your Hannibal Lecters and Ted Bundys and Jeffrey Dahmer.
Your John Wayne Gacy's. Take
Yes.
them.
Take them and just make them like give them both gender. Well, ironically, they have both male and female genders, and make them kind of super hot, because in their human forms they're all super hot, and they will twist your body, mind, and soul, all just for kicks. Just
For kicks and giggles.
that's how they get off.
Yeah.
Well, that's because that just proves that like gods are, even in like certain lores, are just super all power. Like even though they're super and all powerful, doesn't mean that they're all righteous and holy.
Oh yeah.
If anything, all that's proving is that Warhammer has taken that like notion and just amplified it to like 100.
Oh yeah. What was
Also,
what was
where are
that
you
movie
leading?
with
Anime. Where are you leading us?
Christian Bale?
Nowhere in particular.
What was that? What was that movie? Was it Thor: Love and Thunder, where Christian Bale was killing gods, and
Yeah, go where the gods
the reason he started. I mean, the movie is trash, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
But I would say that like compare it to the Christian Bale's role, Gore. Yeah, just oh you killed me, Desert.
My bad. I'm over here just clearing pathway, collecting resources. Like,
I know.
all right, anime. We need to pick a good spot.
I'm trying to lead us to a lake where we can set up, or like a nice pond where we could set up.
Is the thing that we're going straight ahead on the GPS?
Yeah, there's a nice lake in front of us, or there's a nice little pond in front of us, and
well-
then a river off to our.
What about that big like circular to our to the south?
Oh, there? Actually, yeah, that's probably a good place to set up.
I
We can get.
was thinking more that way, and there's a cave nearby as well.
So
Good idea.
I
We can
should
get
point
on-
out,
we can get on-
wherever we go, we should immediately set up food planters because I can't carry any more blueberry seeds.
Oh yeah, I'm full up.
Oh, the cannibal.
Where?
I saw one. I guess it disappeared.
We can dig here, but we need a shovel.
Yeah, first thing we should be getting is the shovel. And to get that, we're gonna need a zipline gun and a rebreather, which both of which are pain.
Oh, hey, I found the cannibal.
We'll put him down.
Kevin's dealing with it.
You know, anyway, funny how in our last playthrough we didn't hunt at all.
We really didn't. We really didn't need to.
Yeah, there was no need for crafting anything like extra pouches or anything. We just we just got food like the MREs and stuff.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff you can find that that can keep the meters full. All right, where are we going? All right, sorry, we got distracted. Slanesh. So, I don't know. I think we got Slanesh in a nutshell. I mean, in a nutshell is where it is gonna put you. So, the thing about Slanesh is, or a funny thing about Slanesh is, well, I mean, for any of the gods, gender doesn't really apply. But Slanesh also kind of has that androgynous look to them, because they're the god of sex, drugs. Slanesh, I think technically Slanesh is like both male and female parts in most depictions,
It's Lady Gaga.
literally. Yeah.
Sorry,
So-
Lady Gaga. No, I know you're not.
Oh, that's Slanesh. I think that gets her. But the whole discussion about the warp and the chaos gods, that's so that's just background stuff. So moving on, you were asking about the main, like, what are the main factions, and I feel like best place to start is the main faction, the main faction, the Imperium
Quote
of
unquote
Man.
good guys.
The quote unquote good guys. Okay, Imperium, main human faction. But if you're talking about evil, everyone's evil. Everybody is some flavor of, being the bad guy is badass. They get to wear cool armor, they get to do badass stuff. Like, no one is good in this setting. Shut up, top players. No one is good. Period.
In terms of the morality of, like, in a D&D
There
sense,
is no
one good.
morality.
There is no.
Morality has left the
Like,
chat.
just from the video games and, like, playing the video games, and, like, the experience I've gotten is exceptionally, like, grim and violent and cruel.
And
And
everything
it's
is either
very
a massive
survival of the
church
fittest.
and a factory at the same time.
Yes. So the Imperium, by rights, is a zealotous, xenophobic, hateful faction that kill each other just as much as they kill their actual enemies. Everything in the Imperium sucks. The Imperium is just gigantic. It is a galaxy-spanning empire. The Emperor, the God Emperor of mankind, and I'll get into him in a second. Oh boy. He is the master of mankind. He is the carrion lord of a million.
Sorry.
He is the carrion lord of the Imperium and master of a million worlds. It is said the Imperium has a million worlds. Most likely, probably a lot more. The Imperium is gigantic. The Imperium barely functions as a government, and it's held together with spit and duct tape and zealotry.
A lot of space racism.
Yeah, a lot of space racism. A lot of space racism. That about sum it up? Like the premise of the Imperium?
Twin berries are good, yeah?
No, but twin berries.
No, twin berries are poisonous.
Oh,
I would
shit.
say the Imperium is kind of, imagine like the Nazis from World War II, obviously, but give them like futuristic equipment and robots and super soldiers, but also no freaking how do I put this?
Absolutely no constraints. Absolutely
Yeah.
zero morality and zero constraints.
Yeah, there is nothing can slow these guys down. And the only thing that might slow them down is the quote unquote waste of resources. Because
So
the
these
empire
guys are
is
truly, like,
the
the
empire
Nazis
is
are like
failing.
the
and
Empire.
sorry.
So these guys are genuinely like the Empire, like the Nazi party of the universe, where,
Yes.
Oh, we need to go this way.
Their entire doctrine, like, there's no friendly aliens. Nobody's really friendly.
Just kill
and-
everything.
The main order is kill everything on sight.
Kill everything. Put everything down that doesn't worship the Emperor. And yeah,
If you don't worship the Emperor, oh boy, then you are a heretic and you deserve to die. You will die a most painful death.
You are
heretics,
capital fucked.
heretics die in 40k on mass scale. There, in the Imperium, there is no freedom of speech. There is no freedom of religion. You are worshiping the Emperor, or you are a filthy heretic, and you will die.
So I'm assuming this is where you were bringing us.
Yeah, this is where I plan to put us. I'm sure we can find a good spot from here. So, little word on.
Sorry.
You're good. So, little word on our favorite Emperor.
What's his name?
He's
Damn
just
it.
the Emperor. Oh, you killed.
He's just
You're
known
killed,
as the Emperor. He doesn't have an official name.
Actually,
Well,
he technically does have a name. He technically does have a name. It's Neoth, but no one calls him Neoth. That's stupid.
That is old lore from like the 1980s.
Yeah.
Back when the lore was first being written.
He's just the Emperor, or as Obi and I call him, Big E. It's funnier that way. Chaos. Actually, one important thing to note: to the Chaos Gods, the Emperor is called the Anathema. Like that's his nick. That's what the Chaos Gods call him. Well, I know I described the Chaos Gods anthropomorphic projections of collective human emotion. But that doesn't mean they're mindless. That doesn't mean they're mindless. The Chaos Gods are very much sentient and very much thinking beings, and they hate the Emperor, because the Emperor, if the gods of chaos represent, the chaotic, the chaotic side of humanity, the chaotic side of the galaxy, if they are defined by a lack of order and a lack of organization, the Emperor is defined by total order, obedience, and organization. He is the foil to them in every way. And he's, how I was describing Psychers really earlier? They're basically space magicians that use the powers of warp, or like use the powers of this immaterial realm to do funky stuff like shoot lightning. The Emperor is probably the most powerful psyker that has ever existed in the modern setting. There are people that are more powerful than him, but they're like millions upon millions of years old and died a long time ago. But the Emperor in the current setting is the single most powerful space wizard ever. And he used that to make the Imperium. But now, why is he the Carrion Lord?
One second. Hold that thought.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Because he is technically not alive.
He's not really alive. So the Emperor himself, he is rotting away on something called the Gold. So 10,000 years. So I said the year is 40,000. The Emperor himself is, or like 10,000 years ago, the year 30, the 30th millennia. The Emperor was engaged in something called. This is the Crusade, or like this is the initial war that made the Imperium. That made the Imperium what it is. That initially founded the Imperial borders. But by the end of that, the Emperor's favorite son, because he created a bunch of sons called the Primarchs. And by the end of this crusade, the Primarchs, like half of the Primarchs, all turned against him.
Huh. Interesting.
So yeah, half of the Primarchs all turned against him in this massive clusterfuck of a civil war. Oh shit, cannibal.
Don't worry, throw a log at him. He'll die.
Oh, well, I'd rather poke him with this sharpened stick. Oh god, I just crushed him with the log. Okay, where were we? Horus Heresy. So after the Emperor founded the Imperium and engaged and did something called the Great Crusade, which is like the war that made the Imperium have to be spread out through the stars. During the course of this Great Crusade, he found a bunch of sons, because he made a bunch of to be his generals during this crusade. They're called the Primarchs. Now the Primarchs are probably the most popular characters in 40k. Are probably the most talked about characters in 40k, and he made 18. Right? Yeah, he made 18 Primarchs. And yeah, he made 18 Primarchs, and they were his main goals. But like I said, at the end of that whole crusade, half of the Primarchs turned against him, led by his favorite son, Horus Lupercal. And by the end of the Horus Heresy, by the end of the Civil War, the Emperor alt shift alt shift F4, alt shift F4 Horus out of existence. But at the same time,
Effectively
the Emperor
deleted the guy's soul.
The dude got messed up. Homie got alt shift X. But at the same time, Horus managed to get a mortal wound on the Emperor. So the Emperor was taken by some of his other sons and interred in something called the Golden Throne. It's basically a massive car battery it's basically a massive psychic car battery that's used to sustain his life. He's just been for 10,000 years.
Are we setting the logs right here?
Yeah. We should probably make a house.
Let me get a log folder or something.
Yeah, we should make a couple of log carts and have Kevin start doing his trimming.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just go crazy clearing the area.
Log holder.
Also,
Here.
We're gonna. Oh, cool.
Where do you want to build the log holder? Oh god, they got Kevin.
Wait, what? What do you mean they got? What do you mean they got Kevin?
Kevin down.
He's not down no more.
Oh shucks.
A random cannibal just appeared out of nowhere and hit Kevin.
They tend to do that.
All right. Well, you all keep working on this, and I'll just work security clearing out this so we can actually have a line of sight.
Got it.
Where do you guys? Where do we want to build anything?
So I think he's building it right there on the other side of the river.
Yeah. I don't know. How does this look? I think this is done. I think this is flat enough for a base.
Well, I don't. Yeah, last time we built a base, we built it on a cliff, and it did not look good.
Well, let's not make that same mistake.
Wait, did you?
Hey. No. Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
Wait, are you making a foundation or are you making a cabin? I don't.
I'm making a foundation. I'm making my own cabin.
You're not making the preset one? What?
No, I'm making a base. It's just gonna be a little cabin just for us.
Interesting.
You gotta do it in squares of 4.
There we go.
Man, I do kind of miss the old system where you have like a blueprint.
Oh, and it would show you what you were working on?
Yeah, essentially.
Okay, so 40k. Emperor. Dude got messed up. Now he's been strapped to a continent-sized car battery to keep him alive, and keep the demons away. But he's just been slowly rotting over time. Just for the past 10,000 years, he's just rotting away on his golden throne, while the Imperium just crumbles around. So I guess.
So he's basically like a lazy ass god.
Well, no.
More like he's a wounded god. Or more, he was an immensely powerful. He's like an immensely space magician, that was put on life support, and then that was put on life support. Then very slowly over the course of 10,000 years, it just developed into god worship. Right, he slowly became a god to humanity. So, yeah, he slowly became a god. He didn't. Like the Emperor himself was a mega atheist. He was trying to make a, or he was trying to make,
society.
Yeah, he was trying to make like an entirely godless society, and it didn't really work out. Horus, if the Horus heresy is to judge by anything. But after he got turned into Golden, unable to directly affect the day-to-day operations of the Imperium, people started slowly worship him as a god, and yeah, it's quite ironic. He never wanted to be a god, but now here we are, 10,000 years later, with the cult of Emperor, or with the state religion of the Imperium being just Emperor worship. Yeah. So the Imperium,
There is no in between. You either
there,
worship the emperor or you get a bullet to the head.
yep, you worship the Emperor or you die. Oh, there we go. All right, walls are going up.
The
Yeah, you worship.
the most angriest Jehovah's Witnesses ever.
Yes. So, I guess at this point, we should start talking about the Imperial sub-factions. So, the first major Imperium faction that I want to touch on is the Astra Militarum, or the Imperial Guard. So, there are a bunch of Imperial factions to go. And yeah, I guess the first one I'll start is Imperial Guard. The Imperial Guard itself, or like as an Astra Militarum major faction you can play on the tabletop, they are the vast armies of the Imperium. These guys are the regular Joe Schmo. These are the regular men and women that serve in the armies of the Emperor.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
Actually,
There is no sexism in the Imperium. If you can kill aliens, you're good.
Yeah, there is no sexism in the. There is no. Actually, there's plenty of racism, but there's plenty of
racism, but sexism isn't a priority.
Yes. So the Imperial Guard, it's the primary. Yeah, it's the primary army of humanity. The Space Marines, which we'll talk about later, they are called the scalpel of the Emperor in the modern setting. But the Imperial Guard, they're the hammer of the Emperor. These are the untold billions. I mean billions with a B. Men and women, regular men and women that serve in a galaxy-spanning army. The Astra Militarum wins, or their combat doctrine is overwhelming fire support. Take like your standard American, like the American Army were to, and crank it up to like 10 billion. Crank it up by 10 billion. These guys have thousands upon thousands upon thousands of regiments of artillery, or like tens of thousands of artillery batteries. Wear down the enemy. Oh shit! I got hit by a tree. I got hit by a tree.
That was my bad.
So yes, Astra Militarum. Don't worry about it. Where was I? So these
Militarum.
Yeah, these are the regular men and women that fight the 99.9% of the battles. Their whole deal is overwhelming fire support. For every imperial army, there are millions. There are millions pieces of artillery. There are thousands of tanks. There are tens of thousands of aircraft gunships, and they batter the enemy with overwhelming firepower. With sheer numbers and overwhelming firepower, and that's how they win the day.
They just say America, motherfucker.
Basically.
Bang, bang, bang.
And of course, given that this is a galaxy spanning empire, you got some variation in the Imperial Army regiments that can be. For example, you've got the bog standard Imperial Guard, the Cadian Shock Troopers, or the Cadian Shock Troopers. These are your buzz cut green beret wearing motherfuckers These guys are the stand. These guys are the standard. They are the yes sir. They are the very much the yes sir no, type of soldier. That make up the bulk of the standard Imperial unit. They are, yeah, they're probably the most boring of all the Imperial units. But these guys, they're the poster child of the Imperial. On the flip
There's a
side,
saying amongst the Cadians, um, when when basically when Cadia was besieged by the Chaos Worshippers, and they destroyed the planet. They cracked the planet in half, and after that event, there's a saying amongst them that says, "Cadia broke, but the guard never did."
yeah. So what he's referring to is something in one of the more recent events in lore called the 13th Black Crusade and the Fall of Cadia. Arcadia is where the most guard regiments came from, in the Imperium. But in one of the more recent editions of the game, there was a lore edition that there was this massive clusterfuck of a battle over Cadia where, like you said, Chaos Worshipper, led by Chaos Space Marines, went to go siege Cadia, and it fell. But the story goes that as the Imperial armies were escaping, the planet was literally blown into pieces. The planet itself was blown into chunks, like core cracked. You could still see on some chunks of the planet floating away into space that there were still some Imperial Guard regiments still fighting. On chunks of the planet floating into space, there were still Imperial Guard units fighting for that land. So the common saying is the planet broke before the guard did. That about get it right, Obi?
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
That's the
That's
Cadian
kind of
release.
that's the rallying cry of most Imperial Guard. That's the rallying cry of most Imperial Guard players. The planet broke before the guard did. And yeah, I think that sets it up. Or I think that gets it right. But the Cadians aren't everything. The Cadians aren't everything in the guard. There are a bunch of others. I'm not going to go over all of them today, but there are some. Yeah, the Imperial Guard itself is a kind of a mix of different eras of warfare. Like, for example, you've got the Valhalla Ice Warriors regiment. They're basically a space Red Army. These are guys that specialize in fighting on the coldest, harshest war zones in the entire galaxy. They haven't felt their toes for 60. They haven't felt their toes in 10 years. It's literally just space Red Army. Yeah, then you got the Catachan Jungle Fighters. It's Rambo. You have these guys are very much your 1960s Vietnam guard, like American Army in space, or like 1960s Vietnam space. And these guys are literally some of the toughest men and women you will ever find in the Imperium, because nothing beats simply spending a night of Catachan. Their home planet is terrifying. It is home to some of the single deadliest creatures known to man. And the people that come out of here, I don't know exactly what the mortality rate is, but it's not good.
We don't know exactly what it is, but we can tell you it's fucked.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's fucked. I need to put on another chunk. There we go. Okay, that's a nice door. And then that will go there. So yeah, I couldn't even begin to tell you what the mortality is, but let's just say most people don't survive past 5 years old. but the people that do are some of the most jacked up steroid motherfuckers you will ever see. Yeah. So,
Let's
Catachin
not
Jungle.
forget they're all insane.
They are all insane. They are all muscle-bound, roided, ramble-looking motherfuckers. Put into an army of space toys. Catachin Jungle Fighters. I think another really popular one.
Ryu.
Another really popular one. Actually, I think this might be even more popular than say Catachin or Valhalla. I think these guys might be second only to the Cadians. It's the Death Corps of. Honestly, these guys deserve these guys could realistically get their own video, like their own podcast. But the Death Corps of Krieg are very much like a European World War I era Central European army. Like they wear these they wear gas masks, they wear pickle halba looking helmets.
So this would be like the Empire of like if you were to show me someone who's into history, like Warhammer. This is probably the faction like this specifically. This subsection would be the faction you would show me first.
I think you would really get a kick out of Death Corps Freak. They are very much your World War I era Germany faction, in 40K. Think gas mask, think think gas mask, think chemical warfare, and think like constant suicidal bayonet charges, backed up by rows upon rows of howitzers and artillery. We've got the Death Guard, or sorry, not the Death Guard, the Death Corps. What's funny about them, or what's awesome about them, is they come from they come from a planet called Krieg, which itself is classified by the Imperium as something called a death world. And I think Krieg itself is called a death world for good reason. And like the Imperial classification, there are a bunch of different worlds, like agri worlds, forge worlds, civilized worlds, etc. Death worlds are rather fun. These are nearly inhospitable, these types of worlds are nearly inhospitable and will probably kill you within the first hour. Krieg, in our instance, is literally just a nuclear wasteland. Or Krieg in this instance is literally just a nuclear wasteland. A long time ago, in 40K, a long time ago, Krieg used to be a lot nicer than a current. And it was actually a rather prosperous imperial world, but the governors of Krieg kind of got a bug up their ass, like, hey, we don't need this Imperium guy. Let's just secede. We're so good. We're great. We're doing great. Let's just secede and have all this taxes and tithes to ourselves. And the Imperium's like, what the fuck are you doing? I didn't say you get to fucking secede. So there ended up being a massive civil war on Krieg, wherein the war only resolved after several hundred nukes were detonated underground, and they killed the traitors, but the planet itself was turned into a radioactive hellscape. The planet itself was turned into a radioactive hellscape because of the several thousand nukes that were detonated on the planet. So, in the Guard Regiment itself, the Guard or the members of the Death Corps Krieg believe they owe it to the Emperor to make up for the sins of their forebears. Their planet seceded a long time ago. Now they gotta make it up. To the Emperor, through giving them through death. They live to die. They live to die in the service of the Emperor. They are zealotous, and they do not care an iota for their own life.
And they're possibly being cloned.
Yes, and because Krieg has such an astonishingly low birth rate, normally there's a pretty popular theory. There's a pretty popular theory that the surprisingly high Krieg are Um, who else am I missing? Krieg's a really big one. So if you
Oh,
got, oh shit. So Krieg is like World War One era Germany. That's what people most associate with them with. But I don't know. I'd say they're more like generalized Central European World War One era army. But on the flip side, you got the Armageddon Steel Legion. These guys are your okay. These guys, if the Death Corps of Krieg were wearing the German influence on their sleeves, these guys even more. The Armageddon Steel Legion themselves are entirely not or Wehrmacht German World War II inspired. Um, they come from the I think it's a Death World. Or they come from the world of Armageddon, and just the name itself is just metal as fuck. Um, it is a or yeah, it's a hive world and it's primarily an industrial world. And Armageddon is most known. It's tanks. It's tanks, it's APCs, it's troop carriers, and it's heavy armor. So the Armageddon Steel Legion itself is primarily outfitted with heavy armor. We're talking, we're talking tanks. We're talking troop carriers. We're talking half track APCs. Um, if their factories can make it, they got it. Think Blitzkrieg. These guys are very much World War II German army, Blitzkrieg, and I think they're probably my actual favorite Imperial Guard regiment. They've kind of fallen off and really being paid attention to that much, but they are really cool. Um, I think that's about roughly all the guard regiments I really want to cover. There are a couple others like the Mordian Iron Guard. These are these guys are like your 18th century European line infantry that are more concerned about shining their shoes than fighting Xenos. They wear bright colorful outfits and they march in line and get shot. Uh you got a bunch of others like these guys are like Talon Desert Raiders. This is very much like your Lawrence of Arabia. These guys are like your Lawrence of Arabia.
dude.
Like strike hard, strike fast, melt back into the desert kind of people. The Vostroyan Firstborn, which are just crazy Imperial Russian era themed guard regiment, where on their home planet of Vostroya, every citizen has to give their firstborn son to the guard. I think it's just their firstborn in general. They have to give them to the guard. And it's yeah, they're creepy. They're wacky as fuck. How do I make it? How do I make a door? I need to make a door.
Sorry, I've been distracted building our base of supply operations.
Oh, I need a couple logs. But yeah, there are a bunch of others that I could. There are a bunch of others that, frankly, all deserve their own.
Hey guys, where did Kevin go?
I have no idea.
He should be out collecting logs. That's what I got him doing.
I'm not seeing him on the map. I think he might have. Oh wait. Oh, he's a ways out.
Where did we send Kevin?
This way. Yeah, there are a bunch of Imperial Guard sub factions that they're not all of them are worth talking about, but a lot of them are really cool. But we just don't have time to talk about all of them. But I want to move on to probably the main faction of the Imperium, or at least the most recognized, the Space Marines. And I'm sure you've heard Obi and I talk about Space Marines before.
Space Marines! Space
Those-
Marine Delta!
Space Marines. Obi, you got anything to say about Space Marines?
Oh, what can I say? Master Chief, like Halo Spartans, but on steroids. Just crazy, 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 crazy strong, crazy powerful, super fast. Like they make your like regular super soldiers be like cannon fodder. It's just not comparable to what these guys can do. They're just out of this world. Just like everything in 40k. It's super overpowered and super broken. These guys, they're kind of the reason why.
The Space Marines are probably the most recognizable faction of the Imperium. Like Obi said, they are super soldiers. They are children taken. They are children taken from their homes, and given tons. They're given tons and tons of organ implants. And tons and tons of organ implants and psycho, and then sent out to fight.
We're going to inject you with steroids and then send you to battlefields all over the galaxy to die.
Literally. They get so Space Marines are they're taken from their homes as children, and given tons of drugs, tons of organ implants, and some of the best training the entire Imperium has to offer. And then they're just turned loose and say, "Go nuts." These guys are stronger than these guys are absurdly strong, absurdly fast, and absurdly resilient. Like it's said, are these guys in full armor, 8, 9 feet tall, in full armor, and and it's said in lore, nothing that big should be moving that fast. It should be moving as fast as they do. I think they can, when in armor, they can sprint at highway speeds. Think of like Master Chief, but a lot girthier and a lot taller.
Girthier.
Yeah, a lot girthier. And it's said nothing that big, nothing that big should be moving. Hold on, I need some of these. Where are these half logs? I need them.
Nothing that big should ever move that fast.
Yes.
Or these guys wear, freaking 10 pickup trucks worth of armor. So how the hell are they able to do that? Well, it's because of their they have extra organs. They have extra everything. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they had two brains, which canonically, like so far they don't, but you never know with these writers. There's a lot of writers working on this franchise for 40, 50 years by now, and sometimes it's really good, sometimes it's really wacky.
That's more the Custodes. But yeah, Space Marines. So I think rather than just illustrating, who they are.
We just go one by one.
There's a quote. There's a quote I think I need to pull up that I want to read. So this is a quote from the Emperor of Mankind himself. It's a long one. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
So, they shall be my finest warriors, these men who give themselves to me. Like clay I shall mold them, and in the furnace of war I shall forge them. They will be of iron and steely muscle, in great armor I shall clad them, and with the mightiest guns they will be armed. They'll be untouched by plague or disease, no sickness will blight them. They will have tactics, strategies, and missions, such that no foe can best them on the battlefield. They are my bulwark against the terror, they are the defenders of humanity, they are my Space Marines, and they shall know no. And in lore, they fuck. Oh, they fuck hard. They fuck hard.
That's all you need to know is they fuck and they fuck hard.
Ironically, their penises do not work because of all the genetic experimentation done to them.
When I said fuck, I didn't mean sex.
It's just that their standard weapon is basically a can of beer fired from a grenade launcher. And
okay, actually, that's a good point. Canonically, their primary weapon is something called a bolter, and it literally fires a 75 caliber shell, a 75 caliber rocket propelled shell, with an explosive tip.
It just says "get fucked, GI."
Basically. So the Space Marines go hard. They indeed go hard.
I have collected a bunch of material.
All right, the cabin's basically done. It's a small cabin.
Alright. We just need some fire.
Let me take this support out.
You take the support out. Don't destroy the whole cabin, please.
I'm not planning on it.
Like you did the last 3 times?
Yeah, we don't need to bring that up. Okay, so Space Marines. So the Emperor initially. So you know how I mentioned there were 18 Primarchs? Their Primarchs, as in made by the Emperor, are the fathers of each Space Marine Legion. Initially, when the Space Marines they were separated into 18 or 20 actually. But let's just go with 18 for now. It's a long story, but let's just say 18. They were initially separated into 18 legions, into 18 legions, each led by a Primarch. So, and half of them half of them, but that's that later. So, the initial batch of Space Marines, or the ones that turn loyalist, I want to go over them now. So, the first legion I want to cover are the Dark Angels, led by Lionel Johnson. These guys have a pretty thick Knights of the Round Table aesthetic. How would you describe them, Obi? The Dark Angel.
Think of like medieval knights, but in power armor and but
Imperial.
not very noble. Like we imagine medieval knights, whole noble and mighty, helping the poor. No, these guys are actually kind of dicks because they don't. Well, Space Marines in general are all dicks because they have that vibe of like, I'm duty citizen, get away from me. And these guys especially, they do not like other people. They prefer to be just killing stuff, but they are very, very, very good at it. More than regular Space Marines, I would say. More than regular, most definitely.
Yeah, they are the Emperor's first. They are the first. They are, according to I think in lore it said these guys are the template upon which every other Space Marine Legion was based. They have a pretty thick, like, Arthurian knight. Their Primarch Lion L. Johnson is.
Yes, that's a real name.
Yes, his name is Lion L. Johnson. Like, it's nuts.
You sure he doesn't own like a train company?
Yes, I'm pretty sure he does. I'm pretty sure he doesn't. He comes from the world. He comes from the forest of Caliban, which was home to a famous order of knights, of powered armored knights that went out and killed warp infested beasts. And they found him in the forest one day. They found him in the forest, and they brought him in, and he was made. And over time, he grew up and aged. He became the Grand Master of the Emperors. And once the Emperor found him on this planet, he had his legion to him, and he imbued his legion with that knightly aesthetic. These guys, like, in combat, are generalists. They kind of do everything. They have heavy infantry, part of the Death Wing. They have biker, like, light scout infantry, or like light scout and flanking bikers type units through the Raven Wing. There are a bunch of others that I'm blanking on, but these guys are potent. They are potent all-rounders. And yeah, they're probably. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say they're probably the strongest, or like the best, or like the strongest of the original legions, because they just do everything so.
You're cutting out there a bit, brother.
Yeah, just a little bit. No, you're okay. You're okay.
Yeah, they're probably the strongest of the original legions because they just do everything well. There's they don't really have any major flaw, but they're very. This is intentional on the part of the writers, but they're very secretive. So you know how I said Knights of the Round Table. It also means they keep their secrets and they keep them well. The thing I think modern day Dark Angels have like circles within circles, inner circles within inner.
It's like Game
Where,
of Thrones level of like intrigue.
yeah. So back during the Horus Heresy, the Legion itself secretly split in half. The second in command to the himself convinced a chunk of the Legion to turn against their Primarch, the Imperium. Secretly took over their main world. These guys are called the Fallen. They got sucked up into the warp and scattered throughout time and space. And the main modern Dark Angels, most Dark Angels in the modern setting don't know about the Fallen, because there's so many, or because they're very like Dark Angels leadership is paranoid about the larger Imperium finding out them getting wiped out.
Okay.
So they keep secrets to a frankly degree. Like these are the kinds of guys who say, "Oh, there's a fallen on this planet." They go and help the Imperial army there, and then as soon as they realize there's no off, they'll show up to a battle.
They'll just kill anyone.
They'll just kill,
They
or
never
if
take any chances.
they never take any chances. If somebody discovers there's a fallen, they just kill them on sight, like no hesitation. Or if they'll turn up to a battlefield, or they'll turn up to a war zone looking for fallen Dark Angels that turn to chaos, and then if they realize that there's no one there, they'll just leave with no explanation.
Deuces.
Yeah, basically.
They just be like, "Good luck, random citizens. You got this."
You got this. So, honestly, modern Dark Angels are kind of shitheads. Not gonna lie, but their 30k counterparts are actually really cool. Yeah, I don't have too much else to say about Dark Angels. What about you, Obi?
Yeah, that's about it. Not a very complicated one.
They're cool.
Standard knights of the Round Table in space.
Think like Arthurian knights in power armor, and you got and congratulations, you got the Dark Angel. Next Legion. What do we got?
Second Legion. No.
Oh yeah. So the second
Legion. Third Legion.
Third Legion is the Emperor's Children, and these are one of the traitor legions. Their Primarch is Fulgrim. He is a sexy man. Where do I even begin with this guy? So the Emperor's Children are a Chaos Space Marine Legion, and I'll get more into them when I talk about Chaos. So I won't go too in depth on them here. But back before the Horus Heresy, they were one of the smallest legions, but one of the most elite. They wore they actually their paint scheme is really cool. They wore purple. They were like this purple and gold armor. And their Primarch Fulgrim was dedicated to nothing like perfection.
1 second.
Yeah, you're good. Oh, I hear a camel.
It's kind of getting dark.
It is getting dark. Got turtle shell?
Yes. I got turtle shells.
We need turtle shell.
Gotcha.
We need turtle shell.
Tutel.
Yeah. What do we got? Oh, this is a. Oh, that's just a half log. No. Yeah, I think I'm gonna skip over the Chaos Legions to begin with. So I'll finish out with Emperor's Children and then just skip straight to the White Scars.
Fair enough.
I'm sorry, I'm back.
Okay, you're good. So Emperor's Children. I think I'd like to go over with the Chaos Space Marines, but yeah, they're small, they're elite, and their Primarch is a sexy man. Moving on. The next big loyalist legion I want to talk about or the next big like loyalist to the emperor. These guys are the White Scars. They have the White Scars. Describe them. They have a pretty thick like Mongolian inspired, like they're pretty much like a Mongolian inspired legion. Um, their primarch is called, and I kid you not, his name is Jagatai Khan. Um, he's really cool. Or he's really cool, but he's got a he's got a pretty funny name. Where do I even begin with these guys? So in the way that that if the Dark Angels are like complete all rounders, the White Scars are like fast moving, hit and run specialists. So the White Scars so the White Scars, they have a lot. They are predominantly like biker infantry. Most of the White Scars really like to go fast. They like to go fast and like to be quick and do really quick hit and run tactics. We need more sticks. We need more sticks. I'm gonna go get some. That about get it right, Obi? Like they're really fast, like hit and run tactic kind of people.
Well, I'm not really familiar with the White Scars, but I'd say you're right on the money. They're just space Mongolians.
They're space Mongolians.
A lot of these legions are just space insert your faction here. Like you got space Mongolians, space Vikings, space Romans, stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, basically. The White Scars are space Mongolians. Think Genghis Khan. Like there's Virginia. Like think Genghis Khan. Like think about how he operated. Hit and run tactics, light infantry on horseback, on horseback, and just circle around your enemy. Circle around your enemy and just keep them. Make sure they never catch you. Never commit to a direct fight. That's the White Scars basically to a T. Just swap out the Mongolians for super soldier space Mongolians and the horses for really fast jet bikes.
Ooh, guys, get your weapons. No, don't have your weapons out.
Oh yeah, that's Virginia. Just stay away from her.
Stay still. Stay still.
The White Scars, they're really easy to. They're probably one of the most obvious what their shtick is, Legion, and yeah, I don't think. Then there's not really much else to talk about. But they're space Mongolians.
They're not really that. They're not really that focused on in the lore.
Well, no, I disagree. They do have some presence in the Horus Heresy books, and they were at probably the most pivotal battle in the Heresy, the Siege of Terra. They were there, but actually, yeah, I think it's fairly. They're not the most focused on Legion and war. But yeah, they're easy to understand. Next Legion, Space Wolves. You know how I said White Scars are probably one of the most easy to understand what their shtick is? The Space Wolves are probably the single easiest to understand what their shtick is. Legion, they are just space Vikings.
Nice.
Their primarch is a guy named Russ. He grew up in space. He grew up in space Scandinavia, in icy death world called Ferris. They are space Vikings. They are melee experts. They are melee experts, and they run at their enemy with power axes and just butcher everything. They're really not a complicated legion, and there really isn't too much to say. If we're just talking about a strict overview of the legion, they are Vikings in space. It's simple as that. Does that make sense?
Yes. So, a couple of questions. One, do we have enough sticks to make like an actual like part or like fire?
Yeah, I'm working on that right now.
All right, because we have a couple of lights up, and I got my flashlight going, but I want to save that battery. Also, just for reference, you guys are still good to keep going, or do you guys?
Oh yeah, we gotta wait. We still have a ways to go.
Obi, Obi, you're good time wise.
Let me check. Yeah, I'm still good for about another hour.
Okay, cool.
All right, that probably. Yeah, I don't think it'll take us that long. I don't think it'll quite take us that long to go over the remaining Imperial factions.
Okay.
If we're doing all the factions, then we this up.
Yeah, then we would probably need another god.
We're probably gonna if you want to do
4
every single
hours, something like
if
that.
we want to do every single, probably gonna 2 hours. Going at this rate.
Let's just
But
cover the humans first, because they have a lot of sub factions. The Xenos, the aliens, they really don't.
fair enough. Yeah, Space Wolves. I don't really have too much else to say. They are Vikings in space. Like end of story. The next one after them, are the Imperial Fists. These guys, oh god, these guys are something else. The Imperial Fists are the master.
Just
Like,
a silly question: should we sleep?
I don't think we don't even have a bed.
Well, just get the tarp out
Oh yeah, tarp.
here.
You got the tarp on.
Yeah, I got the tarp.
I'm gonna make a fire real quick.
Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
Imperial. So
ooh,
Imperial Fists,
I don't have any sticks on me. You guys got any sticks?
plenty. Come on. There we go. Wait, Desert, where'd you get that flashlight?
I don't know. I found it.
It was on the dead guy. Did you pick it up?
No, I didn't.
Oh, damn. All right, let's sleep. Hold Y, and let's sleep.
1 sec.
Survive the first night.
Okay, I'm ready to sleep. Desert, you ready?
Yeah. Sorry, I was answering some things in the background. Okay, turn that off. Save. And then sleep.
So where was I? Imperial Fists. These guys are a little more complex than Space Wolves and White Scars. These guys aren't just X culture in space. Rather, these guys are more defined by their strategy and tactics. More specifically, they are siege masters. Or they are defensive siege experts. Take your standard Space Marine and give him like a kind of like a Americanized buzz cut and heavy sense of duty, and you basically have like the culture of Imperial. But more to the point, these guys are experts at fortifications and holding it and defensive siege tactics. They have a counterpart legion called the Iron Warriors, which are Chaos Space Marines, and they're experts at offensive siege tactics, but they'll be discussed later. Rather, the Imperial Fists, led by their Primarch Dorn, and Rokal Dorn is one of those meme-bound Primarchs, and for good reason. He's the dude is just a walking force of nature.
Just a walking Chad.
He's literally just a Chad.
He is the Chad meme.
Actually, of all the Primarch, okay, you might contest me on this one, Obi, but there are a couple of the Primarchs that are basically like the side profile Chad meme. If they try to turn that into a character, that's kind of what some of the Primarchs are. Just the side profile Chad meme turned into a full character. And Rokal Dorn, I think, is one of them. The other one being what's his name? Lionel Johnson. But Rokal Dorn is a force to a T. Like warp shenanigans, like the Immaterium just kind of withers and dies around him. He's that stoic. He is that stoic and he is that resilient. His mind, or his mind itself, he does not doubt himself. He does not, or there is no self-doubt. There is no second guessing. He is resolute. He is steadfast. The same, yeah. In his legion is the same way.
So
if you tell them to hold a spot, they will fortify and hold that spot to the last man. They are the best defensive siege experts in the entire Imperium. and and during the Horus Heresy, they were the principal force that held Terra or Earth Terra against basically all of the traitor legions at once. Sorry, you were saying. I think I cut you off.
No, you're good. So is that why when we were having a Star Wars and 40K discussion a while back ago, and I said that, like, we were talking about Chaos Gods, and I made a comment saying that, like, Darth Nihilus would basically be, like, the only real, like, Star Wars equivalent to one of those gods. Correct?
Yeah, I think so.
See, I don't think anything in Star Wars is as overpowered as like 40K is. 40K is just a whole other level above.
That's why I was making that, like, comparison with that specific Sith Lord, because he kind of has, like, the same kind of broken ass powers as what I'm hearing in 40K, which is like Darth Nihilus could show up and snap his finger, and he would absorb the actual essence of a planet and, like, all life on it. So it was like on some chaos, but, like, he had to do it. Like, he had to consume that life, or he would.
He's like Star Wars Galactus.
Kinda, yeah. Yeah, it was like, it's a weird, like, juxtaposition. He became so hungry for, like, he used the draining power so often that he became, like, cursed with it. Alright, so that's catching fish.
Poor bastard.
Oh yeah, no, fuck him, dude. He was powerful as fuck.
Feeling bad for a Sith Lord.
Yeah, you're feeling bad for a Sith Lord, dude. Take a second and check yourself. Alright,
Sorry.
so we.
All right, where was I?
There's a couple of feral cannibals out there.
Alright, so we have 2 drinking things. I got the fish trap made.
Got a lot of logs.
Oh yeah.
Some food.
We very quickly established a foothold.
Oh, good. All right. Yeah, Imperial fists, they're not that hard to understand. They are defensive siege expert. Like some of the best in the galaxy. Ooh, excuse me. Yeah. They're really cool. Of all the loyalist legions, they're probably my favorite. Yeah, it's because they are extremely steadfast and resolute. They do not budge. Period. In fact, I think it's said of all the Space Marines. So, for a quick aside, Space Marines are, you know how we said Space Marines have like organs implanted into them.
Yeah.
So they do that through something called gene seed. Gene seed is basically the genetic code of a Primarch. It's basically like the genetic code of a Primarch that you can use that they can use to grow the organs that are needed to turn a regular human into a Space Marine. I think in lore it looks kind of like jizz. But it's basically just genetic material needed to grow extra organs that turns someone into a Space Marine. And these organs have to be vat grown and implanted into the Space Marine by force. Like cut open
into a little boy.
like imagine like you're cutting into you surgically cut into a small child and shove a second heart in there, and you've got and do that like 19 times, and you've got the different organs, and you've got the process to make Space Marines.
Jesus.
Keep in mind, only what is it? 1 in 10 become Space Marines. So you got 900 kids who are most definitely gonna die.
It's not even 1 in 10. I'm pretty sure the actual number is closer to like 1 in 10,000. I'm fairly certain.
So they legitimately take like whole swaths of children.
Oh shit! We got a cannibal going on our food.
Oh shit. Okay, go get it.
Yeah. like when Space Marines want to recruit, they'll just roll up to a world and abduct a shitload of kids. Like, don't get me wrong, they're selective about the process. Like they only take like the most ruthless and the most physically adept children they see. Or like they'll only take the best candidates, and even among those most physically capable candidates, like the most physically fit and capable candidates, only 1 in 10,000 survive the process to become a Space Marine. Or, actually, I should say, only 1 in 10,000 are even compatible with the gene seed for to become Space Marines. Are even genetically compatible to receive the organs. It's a 1 in 10,000 rate for compatibility. But of those, of course, that you have losses due to the training, you have losses due to the grueling training program, and any of those kids could crap out at any moment, or could wash out and die at any moment.
You yellow, you bastard.
Basically.
So hey, what's up with the door?
Just run into it. I don't know what's up. I don't know what's up with the door.
It's like glitching.
Not glitching for me.
Oh, random cannonball is attacking Kevin.
Let's go kill him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. The process to become a Space Marine is brutal, and it just churns through people. It just churns through people like left and right. In reality, it's why there's not really that many Space Marines. Like, I think it's said there's about 1 million Space Marines in the entire Imperial.
Oh, sorry.
Ooh.
We're just in the same area working.
We're good.
pick up
Our
everything
log
up.
folders are all filled up, boys.
What's that?
We don't need any more logs. I'm gonna tell Kevin to stop making. Tell Kevin he's down. Kevin, go get sticks and I don't know, give to me. Yeah, and my point behind all this, of all the Space Marines, the Imperial Fists have a particular, or like, it's even said amongst Space Marines, the recruiting process, the gene seed implementation for is said to be particularly painful, even for Space Marines. So that just kind of puts it into perspective for you. The Imperial Fists are all being resolute and being willing to withstand pain.
And even these guys are like, nah, dude, this shit sucks.
Yeah, there's one other legion kind of like that. They're called the Death Guard, and they're a Chaos Legion. But I'll talk about them. I'll talk about them later. Next up on the list, Legion number 9, the Blood Angels. Oh boy, this is one of the more controversial ones. One of the fanboy ones. So the Blood Angels are. Fuck. How do I even?
Hey guys, we got a cannibal.
Now let's kill
Space
them.
Marine vampires, would you say?
They're basically Space Marine vampires. They are. Yeah, they're basically Space Marine. They're basically Space Marine vampires. They drink blood, or they have this thing called the Red Thirst. They have this thing called the Red Thirst where they need to drink blood or they'll go insane. Like simply to function, and they are probably they're one of the most up close and like one of the most up close combat legions. They're all about running something called assault squads. So the Blood Angels themselves, they're like a more melee focused legion. They strap jetpacks to their back, and they jump into the thick of battle and just cut everything, like literally to the last man. They are berserkers, or not? They're not berserkers. They how do I put this? They're bloodthirsty in battle. Like they'll strap a jetpack onto their backs and like jump into battle and just start cutting things down from the grass up. Thing. But at the same time, they're also supposed to be like one of the most refined legions. Like they have a very much like Renaissance Italy aesthetic to them. They're supposed to be one of the most noble and one of the most one of the most noble and like one of the most refined legions.
Just ignore the drinking of blood and the insanity that comes with it.
Yeah, their Primarch is a dude named who Sanguinius. He's certainly a character. He's one of the most beautiful and angelic of the Primarchs. Like motherfucker has wings. Like motherfucker has like angel wings for Christ's sake. And when he found when he got in touch with his legion, he taught them how to be better. He taught them, the ways of refinement, the ways of like art, poetry. Because before that, they were just blood. His legion were literally just
not to be a murdering fuckface.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, they're still murdering fuckfaces. They're a lot more refined. They're basically
about it anymore.
They're Space Marine vampires. But you're wrong. You're on fire. They're Space Marine vampires. They're. I know I say this a lot, but they're not hard to understand. They drink blood. They drink blood from this thing called the Red Thirst, or go crazy. And well, their Primarch is the one who died. There are some Primarchs who are dead. Or actually, all the Primarchs are either dead or missing in some way by the modern setting. But their Primarch died very tragically. When he did go, he sent this psychic shockwave into the minds of his Space Marines, and it all sent them crazy. And they introduced something into the Legion called the Black Rage, which they basically lose control, just go nuts and kill everything. So
no, wasn't that when Sanguinius died?
Yeah, that's when he died. When he died, there was a psychic backlash that went into the minds of his Space Marines, and now every so often, they basically just go insane and kill everything in sight. Because they imagine themselves as during his final battle as he's dying. So they go insane and kill everything.
Which sounds very reasonable.
Yeah, Blood Angels, not tough to understand. They're bloodthirsty. They're bloodthirsty vampires, like a refined Renaissance Italy vibe to them, and they've got this really cool cherry red armor aesthetic. It's actually really cool.
Well, awesome. Does that touch about basically on all the Imperial things?
Oh hell no! We gotta wait. We still got a ways to go.
The main crux, the main crux though.
No, we still got some loyal Space Marines to cover, and I'll speed this up. I'll speed this up for the sake of brevity. So next Legion after them, I promise. I think there's 3 more to go.
Ultramarine.
So next Legion after them, Iron Hands. You're gonna like these guys. The Iron Hands, led by their Primarch Ferrus Manus, which the name is really dumb, but that's not really within the scope of this. They are a robotic legion. Their entire shtick is being highly mechanized, and they are the heavy armor legion of all the Space Marines. They focus on fielding tanks, vehicles, and otherwise robotic units. So yeah, they're also really cool. Next after them, Ultramarines. Oh boy, the Blueberries. These guys are probably the most bog standard of all the Space Marines. Primarch, Rabute Gilliman. He's a logistician, a strategist, and a fucking nerd. The Ultramarines are very much the vanilla ice cream of all the Space Marine legions. They like the Dark Angels, excel at everything and are bad at nothing. They are by far the largest and most organized of the legions. They have a pretty heavy Roman legion aesthetic to them. And yeah, they fuck pretty hard. They are called the blueberries because they have bright blue armor, and they're pretty cool. Who's next? Salamanders. Oh yes, these guys are the cuddly legion. Primer.
Unless you're a Xeno child.
Here, whatever. No, we have a cannibal. The salamanders are all about flames. They are all about like these guys are all about like close quarters flamer combat. Like the salamander's weapon of choice. The salamander's weapon of choice is they are all about heat. They're all about fire. Like they use flamers. They use meltas.
Virginia's here.
Yeah,
Deposit your
Virginia's
weapons.
there. You're good.
Damn
Oh,
it.
she's running.
Yeah, you're
I
not
put my
supposed to
spear.
like run it. Yeah, you're not supposed to run it, or you're kind of just supposed to stand still.
Tell that to Kevin.
See, here she comes back because we're all standing still.
How come she doesn't do anything with Kevin then?
She don't give a fuck about Kevin. She only gives a fuck about us.
Okay,
Agreed.
Grandpa.
Okay, Grandpa.
Wait, are we allowed to turn around?
Yeah, we're allowed to basically spin, but that's about it. Like, we
And
can
just let her do her
oh,
thing.
Yep. No, if you move it at all, she runs away.
And just let her do her thing.
Yeah.
Salamanders. Yeah, salamanders are all about like using flames, like using flamers, meltas. Their Primarch Vulcan is probably one of the most human and passionate of all. Like all the Primarchs are kind of dicks, but Vulcan is one of the only nice guys amongst the Primarchs.
The only nice faction in the entire setting.
Like people really like salamanders because they're probably the most human of the Space Marines. The salamanders understand that without citizens there is no army, or without citizens there is no army. There is no Imperial army. So the salamanders are probably one of the only Space Marine legions who give up their own lives to save. And yeah, they die in pretty large numbers.
Oh wait! She came back.
Yeah, and they're one of the kindest legions. And ironically, they have an olive green armor aesthetic, and surprisingly, they're all black. Like they have this jet black, ashy coal-like skin with these terrifying glowing red eyes. It's something about living on their home. It's something about living on their home planet that gives them that look. That gives them that look, and they look absolutely terrifying, but they are actually one of the kindest Space Marines. Moving on. Then this is the last of the Loyalist Marines. Raven Guard. These guys are masters of stealth, sabotage, and assassin. They are like the dedicated stealth legion.
Which is kind of ironic because you got these 7 foot, 700-pound people, or maybe even heavier, trying to be stealthy, which just doesn't make any sense. But that's just 40k for you, and just 40k logic. Don't think too hard.
It really doesn't make sense. So the Raven Guard, they have this really weird aesthetic where basically everything they do is just Raven. Nothing but ravens. Their Primarch is called Corvus Corax, which in Latin is literally just raven. They're one of the more stupid legions, or I don't want to say stupid because I think all the legions are really cool. But they're also one of the obvious what their shtick is legion. They are stealth experts, they are stealth and assassination. Yeah. That's all the Space Marine. That's all the Loyalist Space Marine legions. Any closing remarks, Sobe, before we move?
No, I think you covered it all fairly well, fairly reasonably.
All right.
That's about it. Now, the traders, I guess we could talk about the traders.
I want to save them for chaos. When we talk about chaos demons.
Well, do you want to start on the Xenos, or?
No, we still got plenty of Imperial factions to go. So we got Admech, Battle Sisters, Grey Knights.
Oh my lord, yes.
Okay, yeah, I'll make this quick. So, the next major Imperial, and I promise these guys won't take long, as long as Space Marines did, is the AdMech, or Adeptus Mechanicus. These guys are a tech cult. These guys are a tech cult that come out of Mars. So in the earliest days of the Imperium, when the Emperor was just unifying Earth, oh shit, we gotta get him. Oh, what's going on here? So yeah, in the earliest days of the Imperium, when the Emperor had just unified Earth, uh, the next major planet he went to was Mars. So Mars, Mars is owned by
Excuse me.
the Adeptus Mechanicus. They are the tech cult. They're like a tech cult that doesn't quite worship the Emperor. And I know. I know. You think they don't worship the Emperor? That's like Omega heresy. But the thing about Mars is they are the main center for technological innovation in the Imperium. They research all the tech in the Imperium. They're the primary manufacturers of basically everything, not just war gear, but the basic goods you need to run an economy. Um, they make everything. They live on these planets called Forge Worlds, which are literally just planet size industrial used to just make stuff, just endless amounts of stuff, war gear, like war gear and everyday, not just the war gear the Imperium needs to function, but also just everyday items. The Adeptus Mechanicus themselves, they are a tech cult. They believe in something, or they pray to the machine god. They believe every single machine, maybe your Honda Civic, your car, your
Hey,
Bolt, like.
we have cannibals at the base. They're eating our food.
All right, well, let's go kill them. Like they believe every single machine there ever, your phone, your car, that bolter that Space Marine has over there. They believe everything is in. They think everything is populated by a machine spirit, like a spirit that makes that machine run, and and you need to appease it in order to make your said machine run. Like if I don't full stop pray to my gun, it will not fire. That's the kind of guys these are the kinds of guys we're dealing with. These are the kinds of guys who pray to their machines to make them work. They rub it in holy full stop chant to them to make their stuff work. They believe that there is weakness in human flesh. Like they will saw off body parts and replace it with mechanical components because that's what they believe. That's how they become. That is what they believe to become. In order to ascend to get closer to the machine god, you have to become, or you basically have to become a machine. So what you'll see,
This is
of
an
them,
army
all
of
the
General
Imperial,
Grievuses.
they're literally an army of General Grievuses. Like of the entire 40, like of all the Imperial factions, they probably have the most potential for body horror. Um, like some Mechanicum art shows like fucking data tube, like tubes coming out of their mouth, like tubes coming out of fucking every orifice they have, or their limbs and ligaments replaced with mechanical components. And I mean, it kind of works. Like it kind of works. Like they're not dead, so they must be getting something.
Oh
But
yeah,
yeah,
they also employ these kind of slaves. Well, yeah, they're slaves called servitors, which are basically humans lobotomized. Like they take away parts of their brain and put computers, or not computers, parts of machines in their brains, and they usually saw off their arms or legs, and they turn them into either slaves for work, or they just send them like that into battle. Like They'll chop off a
Just say,
guy's head
fuck
and
it,
attach it to a
go.
robot because why not?
You're fucked, go. Ugh.
Oh, cannibal. Um, the AdMech themselves, like they are the most technical. They're a weird like tech. Yeah, they're a weird tech cult, and of course, they make all the stuff the Imperium has. They're basically like, think about it like this. Take your standard private take your standard like military manufacturing company. Take like your Northrop Grumman, your Lockheed Martin, and
You're Saul.
give them give them like an entire country and say the EPA doesn't exist. Make nothing but weapons. Your entire existence is to make weapons, and we will pay whatever you want. Um, think about it like, take Lockheed Martin and give them an entire country and a population that worships them as gods. And tell them your entire existence is to make guns, and we will pay whatever you want for those guns. That makes sense?
Yes.
Alright, good. The Mechanicus, they have a couple interesting subfactions to talk about. They have the Tech Priests, which are literally, as it sounds, they are they are the main brains of the operation. They think of them as like if like the servitors are the technicians, the people like the servitors and the people who are running the machines are like the technicians. The tech priests are the engineers. They're the real brains of the. They do all the important research. They do all the important design work, and they oversee most of the manufacturing. They have their own private army, the Skitari, which are fucking terrifying. They're these kind of quasi servitors. Oh shit! I've got a cannibal chasing me. They're kind of these quasi servitors, trained and augmented with cybernetics, to turn them into an elite cyborg, like a cyborg military, basically. They're really creepy. They're really creepy, if I'm going to be honest. But they're also really cool. They run Legio Cybernetica, which is just tech priests with fire support. Tech priests that use robots. They command robots into battle. What else? Oh, yes. How can I forget? They have under the purview of the Mechanicus is the Collegia Titanica, the War Titans. These guys, these guys are something else. I know I say that. I know I'm saying that a lot, but these guys are. Whew. So the War Titans take the Iron Giant, or take like the Pacific Rim, and put a crew of hundreds, if not thousands, servitors and tech priests in there, and then load it up with as many guns, the biggest possible guns the Imperium could feed. Just throw them out there. The Titans are gigantic. They are manned entirely by the Mechanicus, and whatever battlefield they're is elevated to an apocalyptic scale. Like the biggest Titans they have are probably the size of Statue of Liberty. Like the biggest Titans that are commonly fielded by the Mechanicus, the size of the Statue of Liberty, strapped with fucking every gun the Imperium has to hand. They are absurd. They are absurdly big and they are absurdly stupid. But we love them. And they're run entirely by the Mechanicus. Yeah, those are Titans. There are, excuse me. There are a bunch of other mini like sub factions within the Mechanicus, but none of them are really worth talking about in like a overview style episode like this. So I think that really gets to the core of the Mechanicus. I don't know. Any closing remarks on the Mechanicus, Obi?
Uh, Not really. No, I just how do I put this? They're just crazy Martians which follow a god of robotics and machines, and uh, they're freaking nuts. Just imagine imagine a whole culture of just crazy
Or
robot people praying to machines, so in hopes that it might work, or it might work a little bit better than it does, and there is no guarantee that it's gonna work. It's
basically,
just a Hail Mary. Oh, is this robot gonna function, or is it just gonna
Shit the
not do
bed.
anything at all? It's just based on beliefs.
Huh.
they are a tech cult that makes literally everything the Imperium has.
All right.
Uh,
I
those are the
mean,
big three: Imperial military, or the Imperial Guard, the Space Marines, and the Mechanicus. The next big one I want to cover, I think it's this, and like four more. No, I'll be quick about this. This shouldn't take too long.
now
The
all
next
of the
big,
ones that you're
If you're
about to
gonna say
fall.
sisters,
So like all of the ones you're about to say all still fall under the Imperium.
yeah,
yes.
everything we've been talking about is still all Imperium.
So this is all one faction, and this is just the sub factions within the main faction.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So just a quick aside. On the tabletop, all the factions we're talking about their own, um, with like hundreds of dollars worth of units that you buy. These
Oh
are their
god,
own. Oh
god,
shit.
guys, help,
I'm
help!
I'm on my way, Obi. Oh boy. Oh boy. That's a lot of
Cannibal just
cannibals.
jump me randomly.
Oh shit. I'm getting you. I got you up. Yeah, every faction we've been talking about is a sub faction of the Imperium. Like the Imperium of itself is absurd. Like I said, it is absurdly big. Um, and all of those have their own set of tabletop units. Um, yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think that explains it. Uh, so the next big faction I want to talk about is, or are the Custodes. So the Custodes. How the hell do I explain them? Think about the Space Marines, and then like these guys are. So Space Marines are super soldiers. Um, yeah, Space Marines are super soldiers. Custodes are like super soldiers cubed. So if Space Marines were the elite of the Imperium, the Custodes are even more elite than the Space Marines. They are the Emperor's personal bodyguards. There's only 10,000 of them in the entire galaxy. This is like one of the few. This is where GW, the people who make the lore and make the models, have even an ounce of subtlety. Custodes themselves are absurdly powerful. They are they could take out entire squads of space. Um, oh, Virginia's here.
Don't stop walking.
Yeah, I know. I'm not walking. You still
So
up there,
she's
Obi?
dancing. Now she's sitting down. Oh,
Oh shit. Hey, I didn't do anything, man.
I
She's
got
just
too
running over
close.
there.
I moved too fast for her.
He's heading in my direction.
I'm not worried about it. So the Custodes, or the Legio, or the Adeptus Custodes, they are colloquially known as the 10,000 because there are only ever 10,000. They are the personal bodyguards of the, and they are like handcrafted by the Emperor himself. In a way, and these guys are absurdly powerful compared to Space Marines. They are responsible for protecting the Emperor's body while he's sitting on the Golden Throne. They protect the Imperial Palace. They are his most. They are his personal representatives. They are his companions. They keep his secrets, and yeah,
They
there
can
are
telepathically talk to him at times as well.
yeah they can telepathically communicate with him even like in his like corpse god state. Um, they are to a space marine like the custodians are to a space marine regular what a space marine is to a regular human. They can butcher space marines with ease. Yeah, with relative ease. They're usually organized into this thing called shield hosts. In this thing called shield hosts, where they go out into the galaxy and various battlefields. Excuse me.
Right now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I might have put a couple of logs on the house itself because I don't know
Fuck it, that's why.
what exactly.
I'm gonna take those logs off the roof.
Good luck.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know, for the sake of brevity, I want to go through these factions rather quickly. But Custodes, they are super soldiers cubed. They are absurdly powerful, and they are terrifying. They are terrifying to regular Space Marines. Like, there's a story about Custodes once, where I think 300. I think it was like 300 Custodes went up against a faction of. We haven't discussed them yet, but orcs. They are one of the most numerous Xenos factions in the game. They orcs have absurdly like and are usually on with Space Marines in terms of individual. But I think a force of 300 against I think it was something 40 million orcs, and the Custodes only lost 3 men, and the entire orc army was routed. Like, that's how good they are. They could usually take 3, 4 of ease.
You're cutting on my.
So,
Oh,
I think you might be having Slavic Wi-Fi problems.
hello.
yeah, we can hear you. Welcome
Okay,
back.
I think it's my microphone. Yeah, Custodes. They're big. They're big. They're powerful. They're scary, and they eat Space Marines for breakfast.
Here, give me a. Go ahead. You keep talking. I gotta step away for just a second, but keep going.
Um, what else? Okay, next faction. Or yeah, I don't have too much else to say about the Custodes. They're just, yeah, they're good. They're really good.
Golden Banana Boys. Ooh, guys. Time-wise, I don't really have a lot of time, so we could just save when Desi gets back.
All right. Well, you wanna break it here, and we can go into some of the other.
Yeah, we can do it in the next session. Just finish off the Imperium one, and then maybe we can start on a couple of Xenos.
All right. Well, the next big faction, or Desert, are you even there?
I'm here.
Okay.
Now, have we wrapped
Sorry.
up the Imperium? Now,
No.
Okay.
The
So
Do we want to break?
problem is,
Actually, do we want to break the Imperium into 2 parts?
yeah, that like
there's
I
we're-
a
still
lot.
I still have like 4 factions to go.
yeah. So here's what I'm thinking. Let's put a bookmark in, and we'll wrap up our first we'll call this episode 1. And we'll pick up with the remaining Imperium main factions and their main sublets. Because I'm at the point where it's like I can't retain anymore.
Fair enough.
Personally.
There's a
So
lot to
I like it's a lot of lore. I just absorbed a lot. Oh, we have a cannibal. Let's kill that motherfucker.
cover.
Violence! Violence is the answer!
Spear.
Boys,
Yeah.
I have
Light him on
saved.
fire! Hey.
I'll poke them in the ass.
It's kind of gay.
Well, he's really dead.
You think?
Well, now he's really dead.
All right, guys. How about
Yes, so we're gonna call this episode 1. We'll pick up where we left off probably next week or in a couple of weeks. Gentlemen, please stay after we end for just a couple of moments. Any parting words?
There's a lot. Yeah, 40K is fucking absurdly big. Oh, sorry we couldn't get through everything today.
No, that is all right. There's nothing to be sorry about. Obi?
Just this is like introducing this stuff to uh how do I say, a neutral party is really crazy, and I hope we can teach you a lot more. This is just, believe it or not, this is just the basics. This is not even scratching the surface. This is
Yeah,
just
like I just from like, because I know the lore itself, like the universe itself, is the like identical size to the Star Wars universe, and there's still so much about Star Wars I don't know. And I've been a Star Wars fan my whole life, as far as I can remember. So with this, it's like, oh, holy shit. So it's like, yeah, this is a big holy shit thing. But all right. So from me, I want to say thank you to Animate and Obi for putting this idea together and then bringing it to me. We will be back. If you've made it to this point in the broadcast and you have missed any part of what we've been talking about or have no idea what we're talking about because you've lost your place, whether that be internet or porn or whatever you did, you decided to do with your time. We don't judge here. The replay in its entirety will be on my YouTube channel. We will air it on Monday, and that will be the day it will be coming out on the YouTube channel. So, thank you all so very much for tuning in tonight and hanging out and listening. I have learned a lot. I hope you've learned a lot. It was something different than the normal content you see on here. And I do want to let you guys know that later on tonight, depending, I will probably be back live, either streaming Railroader or maybe something different. We'll figure that out here in just a little bit. But until next time, guys, I've been your host, Desert Fox. Be safe. Stay warm, and peace.